This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFall TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined.
What happened to Macklin Jim Marbella?
That's them.
That's what they. Oh, now they're global.
No, they're MTK Global, Mac the Knife Global.
Okay, all right. We've turned it up a notch. I
Yeah.
see. Okay, all right.
We're stepping up, Paulie.
Right.
We're stepping up.
All right. Just want to make sure I'm on the same page here. All right.
Welcome back to England.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Fought here a few times now, so
We have come here a few times. We've been here for commentating gigs. It's becoming a regular affair. It's got me and the Brits. You know, we have this little bit of a love affair, a bit of a tango going on. You know.
absolutely. How much did you know about Sam Eggington?
Just the basics. I think I know he's a come forward guy. He's a guy who's trying to bring a physical pace, and he's a guy who's improving, and he's on the come up. So he's a good opponent for me to take on. I don't delude myself after the loss of Danny Garcia. I'm more of a gatekeeper type of guy, and it's up to me to get enough wins to prove otherwise. You know, so I think a win like this shows that I'm a bit more than a gatekeeper. I think it thrusts me back into the top 10. And we'll go from there afterwards. But this is what I'm after. I'm after a chance to prove myself at an elite level one last time, and I think maybe beating Eddington gets me a bit closer to that.
What would you say the main thing is in this fight for you? Why are you taking this fight here?
Again, basically, as I just explained, is just the opportunity to attain that status of a bit better than a gatekeeper. I think, like I said, after the Danny Garcia loss, I've probably been relegated to a bit of a gatekeeper. You know, I've held off a couple of guys who have been trying to enter the main rankings, and I took them down. And Eggington is going to be no different. You know, he's the guy who's trying to enter into the main rankings, and he's trying to get by me to do that. And if I can get by him, I'll have done that once again. And so it'll cement me as a gatekeeper, but I want to be a little bit more than a gatekeeper for one last time, you know. And so I don't want to be remembered as a gatekeeper. Obviously, everybody kind of ends up going there to that point, and at that point at certain points in their careers. But I think winning this fight will possibly give me a more important fight afterwards.
So I didn't mean to get you to repeat yourself. I know you kind of went over it previously. Obviously, on a huge bill here from the O2 in London, where we're at the moment. Have you been keeping a little bit eye on the HAYE-BELLEW stuff this week?
Yeah. It's kicking off. It's been a lot of fireworks, more press conference fiascos. I personally don't mind it. You know, I think if WWE can sell their fights, and their fights are staged, and they sell them on these ridiculous events and these ridiculous disagreements between the fighters and the combatants, and people get so much into it because the beefing is so real. You know, the bickering is so real between the fighters. Even if it's all staged, it sells so well. So why would people have a problem when the bickering is happening in a real fight? In a fight that won't be staged.
Yeah.
You know, so if it sells for the stage fights, just imagine how it would sell for the real fights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not a disrespect to WWE. I think they do a brilliant job at it. But what I'm saying is, I think you need more bickering between fighters when the fights are real as well.
Beef sells.
Yeah, beef sells. People know you're gonna play tennis. Okay, they're okay with everybody shaking hands. People know you're gonna play ping pong. Okay, you know what? Shake hands. You're gonna bowl. All right, shake hands. You know, but people know you're gonna punch each other in the face. People know you punch each other in the mouth. They don't really care. It's not gonna really pique their adrenaline to watch you shake your opponent's hand and tell them how much you respect them. You know, like people want to see actual bickering among the fighters, and they want to have that ability to sell. And I think between Haye and Bellew bickering a bit, we've seen OHara, Davies, and Derry Matthews bicker a little bit. You know, there's a lot of selling points here.
But obviously, from the Liverpool press conference, there's a lot of controversial stuff that come out of that, from Haye calling the Liverpool crowd fucking retards, and the back and forth from the crowd and Haye and OHara. But if there's a strong crowd there giving it to fighters, they've surely got a right to voice
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And I think the time to apologize and the time to make things better always comes afterwards anyway. You know, after the fight when tensions are a little bit less. You know, and then you go back and you say, hey, you know what? Okay, I was in the moment, because you are in the moment. It really is. You know, people saying you're in the moment. That's not an excuse. That's a real thing. You know, fight week, you're in the moment. You know, you're in that mean zone where you're just in that place where you're not a really nice person to a lot of people. So if people are going to tempt you and people are gonna talk a certain way to you, you may react in a way maybe you normally wouldn't react. So I think there's no apologies for fight week. I think afterwards, then you can make things right, and hopefully that's what you see, because that's what makes the sport so great. Is after a fight, everybody gets along and whatnot. But I don't think there's anything wrong with anything anybody has said this week.
Obviously, another huge fight from your home place in New York this Saturday between Thurman and Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
Obviously you'll be fighting Saturday night, but later on, I'm sure you'll be tuning in.
Yeah. I hope to be tuning in. I hope to get a chance to watch that fight after my fight. I think it's a terrific fight. It's a great fight. It's one of the best fights that can be made in boxing. That, along with the Brook and Spence fight, is the premier fights in the welterweight division. I can't believe they're made. I mean, this year has gotten off to a real cracking start in boxing, with some fights that have already been made, some fights that have been exciting already, and even some fights on the schedule on the horizon. And Thurman versus Garcia is no different, as is obviously HAYE-BELLEW, And, as we go down the line and check the schedule for the rest of the year, there's some mouth-watering propositions for fight fans.
Can you pick a winner from Garcia and Thurman?
Garcia, you angle towards the naturally bigger guy, because that's usually the way it is in boxing. You angle towards the welterweight, the natural welterweight, which is Thurman. But if one thing Danny Garcia has shown us, and I've said this time and again, is that you can't really count him out. He's won 2 fights where he was a strong underdog. Amir Khan being one of them, and Lucas Matisse being the other one. So while Thurman is a natural welterweight, and you kind of angle towards the guy who's naturally at the weight, Garcia has shown us that we can't sleep on him in the past, So you kind of, if you make your pick as Thurman, you kind of keep one eye open towards the possibility of Garcia making yet another shock upset. And this time, you can't really be as shocked about it anymore, being that this kid knows what he's doing in these particular situations. So it makes the fight intriguing, it makes the fight interesting, and again, it's one of the best fights that can be made in boxing.
Obviously, in May, Errol Spence will travel over here to challenge for Kell Brook's IBF title. How do you see that fight going?
It's another great fight. It's a fight there that mouth-watering. My favorite fight that's on the schedule right now, and it's basically a fight where Kell, is a bit more proven than Errol, but Errol's got such a dynamic name and such a dynamic style, especially in the U.S. He's backed a lot to be the next star in boxing, and this is it's funny because for the next star, you don't get too many make or break fights in your career early on, especially when you're supposed to be a champion anyway. But as far as the opportunity to become a megastar, you've got to win early. You can get beat and come back, and you may still be a champion, but it hurts your opportunity, your chances to be a megastar. And so I think Errol needs to win this fight if he's going to keep that stature up as the next coming of the next megastar for the next generation in the U.S. The issue here is that he's facing the best fighter he's ever faced in his life, in his career anyway, in Kell Brook, and the sharpest fighter and the best puncher. Errol is a terrific body puncher. That's how I assess him. He's got a terrific style, very closed in, fundamentally sound, but give you some aerodynamics to it. Kell also has the aerodynamics as well, and the speed and the timing. I think it's a terrific fight, and I think it comes down to Errol's body punching in comparison to how Kell makes weight. If he's drawn making weight, the body punching will be even more devastating than it usually is, because Errol does go to the body very strongly, and he's a terrific body puncher. And as opposed to Kell Brook's slicing punching power, because it's fast, it's not just power, it's sharp, and it gets in there. And Errol has not really been hit that much in his career, and when he has been hit, there's curiosities about how he's reacted. He's never been hurt, but he hasn't been exactly lucid, fluid after taking the rare shots he's taken. So Kell's going to give him the hardest shots he's taken, and Kell also has the ability to follow up very fluidly when he does land a big shot like that. So I think those are the two things that really jump out at me, that the two dangerous things that both guys can do to each other, and we'll see on the night of the fight how things play out. But it's a fight I'm very, very excited about. It's probably the one I'm excited most about on the schedule.
Okay, Paulie, I think the press conference is going to start soon, so thank you very much for giving us a little bit of your time. Best of luck in your fight with Sam Eggington this Saturday at the O2.
Thanks, mate. All we needed was a fireplace right here, and my pipe, and we've been good.
We're good. We're good.
We'd have had like a regular, we'd have had an online show right here.
Masterpiece Theater.
The Masterpiece Theater. Take care.
Thank you, Paulie.
Thanks, guys.
I am not the maggot, and I am not the clown who learned to box through YouTube. A world champion. Let's just remember that.
May the best man win. The stage is set. Make sure you watch the countdown shows over the next couple of days. Loads more on Sky Sports News on skysports.com. The last bit of hype before these two get in the ring on Saturday night. We cannot wait. Thanks very much.
Stay back.
Tom.